Today we're going to talk about something called the believing game. The believing game is an idea that will help you become a better writer, but also, honestly, just a better person. There's the believing game, and then there's the opposite, the doubting game. Now, most people, most of the time, are pretty good at the doubting game. Here's what the doubting game is. The doubting game is thinking about all the ways that someone is wrong about something, all the ways that an argument is flawed, all the ways that you disagree with somebody. Now, the doubting game is useful, but only up to a point. We should also practice something called the believing game. There's a writing professor named Peter Elbow. Here's how he defined the believing game. The believing game is trying to be as welcoming or accepting as possible to every idea we encounter. Not just listen to views different from our own and holding back from arguing with them, not just trying to restate them without bias, but actually trying to believe them. Often we cannot see what's good in someone else's idea till we work at believing it. So in other words, the believing game means putting yourself in someone else's shoes and trying to really figure out why they believe what they believe. Now, the point isn't necessarily to become converted to their beliefs. The purpose is to discover truth. Now, you might think, well, okay, that doesn't work for what if someone says drugs are good? Should I really try to believe that drugs are good? Yes. Here's why. Even with something that's obviously false, like somebody who thinks that drugs are good, even then, if you could put yourself in their shoes and ask yourself, what would it be like to feel like drugs were your best option? And from that viewpoint, what are they telling themselves about why this is good for them? When they go do drugs, what is the thought process and why are they doing it? If you just go with the doubting game and say, here's all the reasons drugs are wrong, they'll shut you off. But if you go at it and say, hey, I understand that from your viewpoint, you think this and this and this, right? And if you do that, then you can finally have a real conversation with them. Okay, how does this relate to writing? As we have discussed all course, writing is a conversation. And good conversations can only happen when both sides actually listen and try to understand each other. Otherwise, you're just shouting at each other. Don't follow what you see in politics, where people just shoot down everything someone else says. Instead, try to ask yourself, why would somebody possibly believe differently than this? That is the believing game.